So I want to start this video by briefly mentioning that I'm going to be trying a new format. Nursing school is starting back up. So while I can make the time to, make my traditional videos where I feature gameplay and where I feature just my commentary going over that gameplay, I'm going to start doing more face-to-face videos like this so I can just knock out my thoughts briefly so I can consistently upload, and more importantly, so I can just become a better speaker naturally as opposed to always reading off a script. So I'm just prefacing you now for the people who don't want to stay and watch that type of content. I'm still going to do my traditional gameplay videos and commentary over the gameplay. Those will drop on Sundays, but throughout the week and even sometimes on my Sunday uploads, you'll see videos just like this. As you read in the title, this video is discussing why dying in video games teaches us about failure in general and holistically. So in real life, failure feels final. In games, it's expected. This is why you'll see, like, look at the average person. Let's say you go into Walmart, or just the average person you see walking on the street. You can see them, they could be overweight. They could be someone who just lets themselves go. That's because real life just has a way of weighing you down, so to speak. And as it weighs you down, you just start to kind of degrade your expectations and the hopes that you have for yourself. That's why you see people who give up on their dreams and they just reach a certain point in their life where, like, I'm good. I don't even want to try anymore. And I think that stems from the fact that life, it has this sort of finality to it, like an end all be all. Like there isn't any changing your circumstances, even though that couldn't be further from the truth. You can always change. But a lot of people, they'll have it ingrained in their mindset like, oh, it's just supposed to be this way. Whereas when you play a video game, let's use a game like Elden Ring, for example, that failure, that's not something that's viewed as a finality. It's not something that's viewed as the ultimate conclusion, because you know that you can strengthen your character, you can come back stronger, you can find some other items, you can learn some more lore, you can learn some more details, you can look up some YouTube videos, and then after you've bolstered your stats and you've become essentially that guy or that strong, overpowered character, you can come back and you can defeat the boss. So when you attribute that to life, it's like, okay, people harbor this ideal mentality that, oh, I can make it in video games, but they don't carry that same regard for themselves in their real lives. And that's why I thought it'd be interesting to make a video about this topic. So the question that I want to present to you all is, why do we accept death in games, but we fear failure in real life? There's this interesting study in psychology, because I'm in nursing school now, but I have a psychology degree, which is useless. Don't get it twisted. But there's an interesting concept in it called learned helplessness. In school, they reference this study. I think this is the right study. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But they reference a study where there's a rat in a cage, and the rat is like navigating a maze, or he's doing something. And then the studiers, the people, the experimenters, they give the rat a shock based on certain things that the rat is doing. Now, the rat, the reasonings for these shocks is unbeknownst to the rat. But as time goes on and the rat is trying different things, it begins to realize, well, no matter what I do, I'm still going to get shocked. And that's essentially what it's like in life. People, they'll go about life, they'll try certain things, and they essentially feel that no matter what I do, there's nothing I can do. They learn to be helpless. They have conditioned themselves to give up and to stay in that state. Whereas in a video game, they do not do that. They'll keep trying again and trying again and trying again. And then you beat that level, or you get stronger, or you do XYZ. You beat this boss, it's not the same thing. So something I just want to assert is that you're supposed to fail in both a video game and in life. And I'm someone who has grappled with this myself for a long time. I used to be a quitter. Oh God, I used to be a quitter. The first sign of adversity, I didn't want to do anything anymore. But I realized if you don't do anything of consequence in life, if you want to be somebody, you have to put effort in and you have to work towards it. It's not just going to be handed to you. I'm in school to be a registered nurse. I'm almost done. I'll be finished in October. And that is something that I had to fight for. I study 6 hours a day. 6 hours a day, I'm in my books. That doesn't even include class time or clinicals or anything. Anything of consequence, you have to fight for it. You're supposed to fail, because what eventually happens is you fail your way to success, And the way I perceive success, in God of War, in the initial scene, as soon as you hit new game, what is Kratos doing? He's cutting down that tree that his wife handpicked for her funeral pyre with his axe. He's cutting that tree down. And you have to press the button. I think you have to click R1. You have to press R1 quite a few times until that tree eventually topples down. And that's exactly what success is like. Each attempt, each time you get back up, each time you try, that's a swing of that axe. That's a swing of Kratos' axe. You're going to chop and chop and chop. And eventually you're going to topple that thing down, and then you're going to realize, oh, I made it to the top. I made it. Like, I'm successful now. In a video game, death and failure is seen as information, not punishment. And What games teach us is that they teach us learning and experience through repetition. You continually do something over and over and over again. And naturally, the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it, or you're going to refine your strategies. You're going to go back to the drawing board. You're going to do things differently because you're not going to define insanity. You don't want to do the same thing over and over. You're going to try different things, and eventually you're going to overcome everything. And that's the goal of it. That's the same thing with life. And the reasoning for all of this is probably due to the fact that people inherently have this fear of judgment. They want to be within the in group, within the tribe, so to speak. So when you fail, you don't want to go to your friends or your family or these people and say, oh, I was pursuing this didn't work out. I was pursuing that didn't work out. But that's what people have. They have this inherent fear of being judged and being ostracized from the large group. And I'm not better than anybody. I'm not immune to this. What did I say at the top of this video? Or somewhere in the middle, somewhere in there. I said, I'm still in nursing school. I'm 25. I started school when I was 18. So my first semester in college. August 2019 was my first semester in college. I'm still in school fighting to get this degree, and I'm almost done now. But if I would have gave up, it would have never happened. But people somehow have come to terms with persistence and being someone who's diligent and hardworking and actively pursuing a goal. They seem to be content with the fact that you can do that in a game, but when it comes to real life, that's where they draw a line and like, I don't want to do that. Boss fights in any major encounter in a video game, these are you may perceive them as walls and obstacles in the game, but they actually are lessons, to be honest. And another thing about these fights is that they can kick you behind at first, but then you get stronger and then you come back and you win. The thing about skill growth and becoming successful is that it's invisible and it's unnoticed until it isn't. You'll work, don't see any results. You'll study more, don't see any results. You go to the gym, you train with more intensity, you go more frequently, maybe you weren't going at all, so you finally start going, you won't see any results. But then all of that culminates into something great after you've been consistent over a long period of time, and then you look at everything you've amassed, you look back and see, oh my God, I'm successful now, I made it. Video games normalize failure, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's something we all should aspire to embrace and to face head on. Because I know that I sure have grown. I remember when I first started, I couldn't even do a blood pressure. I couldn't even tell you why a blood pressure is being done. I couldn't tell you certain things. I didn't know certain assessment findings. I didn't know. And look at video games. I remember when I first started Elden Ring, I didn't know what I was doing. That was my first Souls game ever. I never played Dark Souls before that. I never played Sekiro before that. Never played anything. But over time, hard work and consistency over a long enough period of time will culminate in success. That's the recipe. Or at least that's what I believe, Anyways, like I said, I'm going to be doing more videos just like this where, it's face-to-face interaction. It's minimal editing. I'm not really putting in footage of gameplay or trailers or anything like that, because that's usually what I do is I'll use trailers, I'll use gameplay footage of my own sessions or things released by the official PlayStation channel or whatever, and I'll do that, and I'll provide my commentary over it. I'll write my script, and then I'll read my script and, do my analysis that way. Well, I will continue to do that. That will only be done primarily on Sundays, whereas videos that I upload throughout the week will be comprised of this, and even sometimes on Sundays it will be this type of content as well, so that's going to be my plan moving forward, just trying something different. I just want to see growth. What I really want for this channel is I want to just be monetized by the time school is done. So I'll be a nurse in October. I'm going to pursue more education, and that pursued education additional will be done in May, and then I'll just keep going. So by May, I want to have at least 500. I want to be monetize. If not, I'm gonna keep trying, because just like I said, life is about failure, and failure is a source of repetition. As long as you keep trying, and then you will make it eventually, and that's what I'm going to do. So also stay tuned, because this Sunday, as I just said, Sunday is when I drop my commentary videos, but this Sunday I'm dropping an Elden Ring religion video where it discusses the different factions in Elden Ring. So the Golden Order, those who live in death, the Frenzy Flame, all these other things. I'm going to be discussing these factions and how they resemble a religion, and if given a choice, which one of those factions would you subscribe to? Which one would you pick? But anyway, I'm Harlem. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Also, P.S. if there's any games that you want to see me discuss and analyze in a face-to-face format like this, as opposed to just my commentary, just leave them in the comment section below, or just let me know. And any criticisms, comments, questions, whatever, those are welcome as well. So thanks.